Okay, let's dive into this. Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're tackling a topic that is literally absolutely crucial for women's health, the essential indicators of polycystic ovary syndrome, or PCOS. You know, getting a grip on this, it's not just about adding another medical term to your vocabulary. It's about fundamentally changing how we approach proactive health education. It's about realizing that catching these signs early, that can be a total game changer. It's completely life-changing. Yet, kind of surprisingly, this topic doesn't really get the widespread, loud attention it absolutely demands in our daily conversations.
So, who actually needs to be tuning in and paying attention to these critical health signals? Well, you might initially think, oh, that's just for doctors, right? The medical professionals and specialists. But actually, scratch that. The reality is so much closer to home. We are talking directly to you, young women, girls who are just starting to figure out the whole complex maze of their own health journeys. And this is key, the parents and guardians guiding them. The responsibility here shouldn't just sit on your doctor's shoulders once a year at an annual checkup. No way. It needs to live right in our homes, in our everyday chats.
So the crucial point is understanding exactly what we're actually dealing with before we go any further. PCOS. It stands for polycystic ovary syndrome. And let's be clear, it's a very specific, recognized clinical condition. It's definitely not just a passing phase, it's not a generic catch-all excuse, and it's certainly not something to just brush off or dismiss. Because of its really complex impacts on metabolism and reproduction, it's a syndrome that requires our absolute, undivided attention right out of the gate. You know, language matters tremendously in healthcare. Over in the clinical world, doctors and researchers are always looking for these formal, essential indicators, right? But in real life, everyday life, we just call them symptoms. Bridging that gap between a sterile clinical environment and our actual lived experiences is just so vital. Whether you're reading a dense medical journal using all the fancy terminology, or a teenager is just mentioning a symptom at the dinner table, they are both pointing to the exact same reality. They're basically signal flare. The body is communicating something super important, and we need to have that shared vocabulary so we can recognize it and act on it. No hesitation.
Now, what's really interesting about this concept is the immense weight of just one single word, every. Let that sink in for a second. We aren't just talking about symptoms some girls should know, or signs that only people with a specific family history need to keep an eye on. Emphasizing that every girl should know these indicators, that completely shifts the entire conversation. It takes it from being this niche medical issue straight to being a universal requirement for basic health education. The prevalence and the potential impact of PCOS are just so huge that literally no one should be left in the dark about this.
And this brilliantly illustrates our core thesis for today. It all boils down to a super simple, undeniable truth. Understanding these essential indicators equals vital awareness. Knowing these signs isn't just some random medical trivia you memorize for a pop quiz in health class. It is the very first non-negotiable step toward personal advocacy. And why does that matter so much? Well, because awareness empowers young women. It gives them the tools to seek a proper diagnosis and actually take control of their own health narratives. It transforms them from being just passive patients into fierce, active advocates for their own well-being. As we wrap up this explainer, I really want to leave you with a massive, kind of provocative societal challenge. How can we ensure every single girl actually learns these essential indicators? This knowledge is an absolute must-have for sure, but making it common knowledge, that takes all of us. It's a collective effort. So the learning absolutely does not stop here. Go out and research the specific indicators of PCOS for yourself, start those conversations with the young women in your life, ask the tough questions at your next doctor's appointment, and become a really active champion for women's health education. By keeping these conversations alive and out in the open, we can spread this vital awareness like wildfire. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Keep learning, and I'll catch you next time.